And here we are.
Hey.
Hey, thank you, everyone. Welcome to another episode of whatever we decide to call this show in the future.
Ah,
But tonight it's called
it's like
Ghosts of Christmas Magic Past. That's right. Ghosts of Christmas Magic Past. I'm your host, Vince Wilson. And tonight joining us is Alexander Thorn and David Parr.
Hey.
So tonight is our very special magical holiday special. This is brought to you by Pose Magic and Pose Magic Academy, and it is live streaming currently to the Pose Magic Facebook page and the Pose Magic Academy Facebook page and our YouTube channel. So feel free to comment in the comment section. Oh, we got some comments already. There we go. We got yay magic. And woo.
Woo. Hey.
Yeah. Oh, we got Edward Woodfagain Pello. There you go. All right, so we're all set up tonight. So tonight is a sort of a free flowing, organic sort of show. We're not really stuck to a heavily scripted evening. I want to invite my good friends David and Alexander tonight to discuss some memories from the past in regards to the holidays. And we're also going to talk about some spooky myths and history regarding the holidays, because Christmas, and let's be honest, that's what we're focusing on because we're three white guys. And so we're going to focus on the generic but secular concept of what Christmas is today. But Christmas used to be more of a night of revelry. That all changed in Victorian England. But before that, this may sound familiar. A group of people going down the street, dressed in costumes, knocking door to door, asking for money usually, but a treat.
Mommy.
Yeah, that's right. And then if you did not have anything for the Christmas king, you know what they did? They would play a trick on you. This eventually evolved into what we call trick-or-treating when Victorian England decided they didn't like all this revelry, and they reimagined it with the help of Queen Victoria, but also Charles Dickens. Charles Dickens was actually a very powerful force in regards to revisionist history in regards to the Christmas holiday. The Christmas Carol notwithstanding, many other influences came. The Christmas card was invented this time. I believe David is knowledgeable of that story too. David, you want to tell the story of the Christmas card?
Well, they were invented by a man named John Horsley. He was an illustrator, and a London businessman, a wealthy businessman named Sir Henry Cole, commissioned him to create a Christmas card that he could have printed and sent out to his family and his friends and his business associates. And so Horsley designed this lovely triptych card that showed people doing good deeds for the holidays on the side panels, and then the center panel depicted a Christmas feast. And he was criticized by the British temperance movement for the drink part of the revelry shown in the center panel of the triptych. And it basically just had a generic message, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to the on the inside. And then what happened was that it blew up. Like, everybody wanted one of these, like, to send out, and so it became this like a craze, and all across England and in Germany as well. And it ended up that a number of prominent persons complained that he was responsible for overburdening their postal system. And so there were a number of Scrooges who said that you shouldn't be doing this because you're going to bring down our postal system. But it was a craze that stuck, and we still have it today. In fact, I got this lovely Krampus card in the mail.
That is a lovely Krampus card. I also got a Krampus card recently from my friend Zeke Powers as well.
Awesome.
Yeah. So how about you, Alexander? You want to talk about a Christmas tradition? Let's start with the anglicized version of Christmas that it kind of before we go into the more obscure ones that our viewers may not be aware of.
Of course. One of my favorites, the thing I love with so many holiday traditions is within certain regions, it might start out as one thing, but it keeps on shifting. Like, for instance, we know Santa Claus, his sleigh pulled by a bunch of reindeer, and in some areas, Santa is accompanied with a little helper. Sometimes Santa is pulled by other creatures on his sleigh. One of my favorites is the Yule Goat, where instead of his team of 8 or 9 reindeer, if you want to throw Rudolph in there, instead of those, sometimes it's just one solitary goat. And there's all kinds of different theories as to where this comes from, as to why this is a thing. The most wide agreed upon one is it goes back to old pagan origins before even Christianity was a thing. And some think it's based off of Thor, because Thor, his own chariot was drawn by 2 goats who he would consume every night as his meal, and they would just come back to life the next day. So he would have the Yule Goat.
Deal, isn't it?
I'm sorry, what?
That's kind of a crappy deal, getting eaten every day and then resurrected.
Yeah, I think there's a story of
at least once where it didn't go well because someone didn't follow his instructions. But that Loki was involved in that, so you know how that goes.
Exactly. Yeah. It didn't. The goat didn't come back properly because someone forgot to put all the bones back where they were supposed to go. Oh, so this is the goat I'm getting to. This is a very specific goat. So a lot of places, they'll make little tiny goats out of hay or sticks, and they'll put it on the Christmas tree. In some variations, the Yule Goat is the one who delivers the gifts themselves. But this specifically is the Gavle goat. Now, the Gavle goat is a Yule goat, but it is made in the town of Gavle in Sweden. Here is why I love this damn goat. It is built every year in Gavle, Sweden. And no one knows why this happens, but ever since this tradition was started in the 60s, the tradition with the city is like, oh, let's make this beautiful goat statue out of straw and hay and show it off to the town to commemorate the season. The rest of the town, their tradition is to try and burn it. And every year they get more and more police officers and guards to stand around it because they're sick and tired of people burning down this stupid goat. And people keep getting arrested, but the town will not stop burning it down. And every year they are successful in burning this poor goat. And people continue to get arrested. I actually need to find out if they did it this year because COVID. But this poor and lovely tradition, I love it.
The traditional burning of the goat.
Exactly. And the prison sentences get worse and worse every year to try to encourage people to not burn the goat. There you go. It's been going for a while. This was the first. Oh, ominous.
Crikey. So good.
Wow.
They couldn't even make it 2 days.
Quickly build a new goat, and what it would
Yep, it probably, if it's in the Nordic countries, it probably evolved from the Nordic traditions, that sort of thing. Burn the Goat is a great brand name.
I would listen to
it. The traditional burning of the goat. One of my favorite things about the season are these. It's a time for like little luck rituals to ensure good luck in the coming year. Mm-hmm. And there are lots of them around the holiday season, lots and lots. One of them was that the Christmas pudding had to be, when it's on the stove, had to be stirred by everyone in the house, or it would be bad luck. So everyone in the house would have to stir the Christmas pudding at least 3 times round, including babies. So if you had a baby in the house, you'd put the spoon in their hand and guide their hand as they stirred the pudding. And as you stirred it the 3rd time, you were supposed to make a wish. And I've always wondered what the babies wished for. Maybe the supreme power, to see their enemies driven before them.
Stormageddon, the baby.
Yeah, something like that. So yeah. The unfortunate thing about this was that many people used to make the Christmas pudding. They used the big copper pot that they boiled their laundry in. The same copper pot that they boiled their laundry in. Yeah.
Pudding was great up until I got a sock in my spoon.
Yeah, exactly. The one who finds the Christmas sock gets luck in the coming year.
Oop. I think I left some change in my pocket. I'm sorry.
Let me see. There were other ones. There was the 12th night cake, which was served on 12th night, January 6th. It was a sort of honey cake, and baked into the cake was a coin. Was a gold coin, and whoever got the coin was named king or queen of the feast and got to lord it over all the other people at the party. And of course, the chances were you might chip a tooth on the thing. Which good luck, bad luck. It's kind of a mixed bag.
Is there any relation between the 12th night cake and the king's cake that you would get at Mardi Gras? Because I know that also usually has like a coin in it sometimes,
or a bean,
or a bean. Yeah.
I'm sure all of these are related.
Yeah.
They all come from weird pagan magical traditions, right? Yeah, and of course there's the Yule log, and you were supposed to burn the Yule log throughout the day. You were not supposed to stir the Yule log until after you'd finished supper, but you also could not let it go out. It would be very bad luck to let the Yule fire go out. And the other thing was that you weren't supposed to let it burn up completely. You were supposed to save a little piece of the Yule log, fetch it out of the grate, and save it. And it was said that if you placed that little piece of the Yule log under your bed, it would protect your house from fire for the next year.
Irony.
Yeah. Or maybe cause one.
That's right. Yeah, you'll be in trouble if you're not careful with that one.
I like to think in so many different mythologies, you have the concept of the salamander who will sometimes pop up from a fire if it's left unattended for too long. And I like to think for one day of the year, if you leave the Yule fire unattended for too long, it's a salamander with a little Santa hat, or he just comes bearing gifts. That'd be wonderful.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, and there's many more of these luck rituals attached to the holiday season. Many, many more. Yeah.
Yep. So I'd like to start one of our videos. This was actually suggested by David initially. So we're gonna go down a little bit of memory lane. Like I said, it'll be probably all over tonight. But I also remember this commercial when I was a kid. Let's see. Here it is.
It's the season for holiday giving, and Norelco has the quality gifts to give. Lady close shave, or put a shine on your shoes. Give her sleek new ways to stay beautiful, or a bright new way to start the day. Give a blood pressure meter, fabric steamer, travel iron, cordless hand vac, or the ultimate in ironing ease. For quality holiday gifts, it's Noelco, because even our name says Merry Christmas.
Noelco, we put quality first.
I don't remember there being an ad for the blood pressure meter in there.
You're gonna need that around the holidays to handle the stress. Oh, that's hilarious.
Funny. That is funny. Yeah, the appearance of Santa riding the Norelco Razor signaled the beginning of the holiday season to me as a kid. Definitely. Yes, of course you did.
I just love the choice that some marketing executive made. Like, all right, now we're going to advertise the razor. Who do we know that symbolizes clean shaven baby face? Who's going to be the front runner for this marketing? Santa. When we think shaving the face, we think Santa Claus.
Well, Santa might be shaving other parts.
Oh, he's manscaping. Is that?
might be.
Yeah.
You know, there's no judging.
Carrying the Yule log.
No judging.
Yeah, no judging. Yeah.
But yeah, that was a signal of the holiday season commencing. Yeah. That and the big what was it, the J.C. Penney catalog.
Oh my gosh, I remember that. Yes, it was like 4 inches thick.
Yeah.
Those things. Well, maybe not 4 inches, but 3 inches thick.
It
those
was
things were
a
huge.
thick catalog. It was
Sears was big too.
Yeah.
And I remember just flipping through that and fantasizing about, all the toys, but also about the future. It was,
Yeah. No, I remember there was one year where there was a hobby shop near our house back when that was a thing, and they had this set of models, plastic models you could assemble, and each model, there was a series of them, and each one formed a part of a scene that, when you united them all, formed a miniature dungeon with a rack and there was a pin pokers, red hot pokers in a brazier over on one side, and there was like a hunchback guy that was in there, and and I wanted that so bad. I was like, this is what I want for a gift, and I will never forget it because it was the one time my parents drew the line at my weird inclinations. And my mom said, "No, David, it's too morbid." And I will never forget that, having that knocked out. Like, okay, no, you can't have that. It's too morbid. They ended up pulling that toy off the market because enough parents complained that it was too morbid.
Cancel culture, ridiculous.
Been around for a while.
Complained it was too morbid, so it was pulled off shelves. So that complete set of the dungeon models is fairly rare. If you look online, if you Google search it, you'll find ads for it from comic books and stuff, and they're pretty amazing. The ad itself is pretty disturbing too. So flash forward many years later, decades later, I'm at Bizarre Hauntings, Vince's Bizarre Magic conference, and one of the magicians there, who goes under the stage name Vlad, performs as a vampire character. I was telling the story about the gift that I never got as a kid, and he said to me, "Oh, do you want one of those? I have some spares." And I'm like, "What?" And because most people don't even remember this thing, it's like an obscure, thing that nobody really remembers. But of course he would. And of course he would have multiple copies of these models and actually have spares. So the following year, he shows up at the conference with this, the hanging cage monster scene. And here we have a sword and the red hot pokers and the brazier here, and then this sort of gibbet, and so I was like, it's a holiday wish come true. Wishes do come true. And so I now cherish this.
It's a Christmas miracle.
It is a Christmas miracle. So this is a reminder that wishes do come true.
So Alexander, I think it's time for us to talk about a certain special someone, this Christmas witch. I know you're looking forward to telling the story. Should I run the video first, or actually, let's talk about her first?
Of course.
Yeah.
Now, to my knowledge, there are 2 Christmas witches. There are probably many more. There's one in Italy, and she is very kind. She's very benevolent. If you go to Epcot and Disney World, they even in the World Pavilion, if you go to the Italy section, they have a little stage show about La Befana, the Christmas witch, who she was a kindly old woman when Jesus was born. She could not be taken away from her housework as the wise men passed by. But eventually she's like, oh, that was the Christ child. I need to go deliver a gift. And she grabs her broom, flies there, but she can't find the Christ child. So along the way, she decides to start leaving gifts to every single young child in their shoes outside in case they are the Christ child. And she's doing that forevermore. Very kind, very sweet. But this is La Befana. This is Frau Perkta. She's in the Austrian regions, along where Krampus is, and she's often shown with Krampus as an old Krampus outfit there. And Frau Perkta is on the right. Now, Frau Perkta, she's depicted in so many different ways, often in the middle between beautiful and terrifying, but it can go either way. This is one of the terrifying ones. But usually she's depicted as an old hag. Sometimes she has a one webbed foot in addition to her regular foot because she's constantly spinning thread. Now, the thing with Frau Perkta is there are ways to make her calm around you. In some households, it's you have to leave a special bowl of porridge out. And if that's there, she'll leave you alone or she'll give you gifts. Sometimes it's you have to have cleaned your house. But every legend is the same, where if you didn't follow the rules, whether you didn't leave out the porridge, you didn't clean your house, you didn't spin all the yarn you were supposed to spin for that season, she comes inside. She takes out her giant pair of scissors, cuts open your stomach, removes all your intestines and organs, and stuffs it with rocks and dirt and stones and hay. Not really sure why. That's just what she does. Recently, she got popular on TikTok, and a lot of people have been posting TikToks of Frau Perkta, and it makes me so happy that the young kids are being exposed to this horror. But please, I'd love to see this clip.
All right, clip time. No pun intended.
There are parades of Frau Perktas, and sometimes she walks along with Krampus. It's probably the day that all kids stay in the house.
Oh.
Does she have a face carved out of wood?
No, that's a different thing we're going to talk about a little bit later.
Picture before it looked like her face was carved out of wood.
Yeah, that one was a weird one.
Oh, hold on, got the wrong.
Yeah, that one's a different one.
What on earth are they beating with?
Oh, you'll get that.
That's a different kind of Yule log. Don't worry, that one's coming. You're gonna love it.
All right.
Here we go.
No, that's the same one.
I hear it, but I don't see it.
Give me a second.
One with them beating the giant log creature.
Here it is.
Human beings are so weird.
We really are. All right, so what's funny is
Here, yeah.
just the appearance is terrifying, but just the sound.
Oh my gosh. I remember we watched this last week.
She's interrupting their Uno game.
I just love how casual this is. Anywhere else, there'd be screaming and crying. But it's like, oh, Frau Bertha. Oh, this is adorable.
You scam.
So these ones must be the house judges because they come with brooms.
This place could be tidier.
This one couldn't afford the scissors.
Yeah.
Yeah, but very animated nose space there, though. It sort of reminds me of the character from Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Alec Baldwin.
Yep.
Stretchy face.
Yeah. He was like pull the.
Yeah. They should be handing out moist towelettes.
You know those signs that say "Don't feed the birds." This is why. This is what it leads to.
They're gonna stuff her full of hay.
She's like, I lived too long.
I think I'll take the stairs.
I
No,
welcome
it's fine.
this end.
I welcome you.
Oh, it's very nice of them to sweep up too.
Yeah.
Oh no, the illusion is ruined.
No, they ate this man, and Frau Bertha is letting him drink from the throat, crawling back up.
He's being fully digested.
Something to numb the pain.
Hours and hours of agonizing digestion.
What's funny is you get a mixture of comments on these videos. Half of them are like, oh, I remember these when I was a child. You see a lot of comments in German. And then you get a bunch of comments of like, oh, I just saw this on TikTok, LOL.
That's so good. So good. Yeah, I mean, it's great that there's a little darkness to the season, you know, that there's an acknowledgement of the darkness of this season.
I think too many people today forget that this is a dark season. For most of human history, this was a scary, scary time of like, hey, we're probably not going to make it.
Yeah.
Let's party just in case.
Yeah. And that's why there were all these luck rituals and stuff. This was a rough time, and you didn't know if you were going to make it through the winter.
We had so much food and drink because like we couldn't keep it stored. So it's like, well, let's just eat it all now. We can't keep feeding the cows. Let's just slaughter it and eat it.
Yeah. So it's cool. You know, Henry James wrote that a tale told around the fire on Christmas Eve should be strange and gruesome. And so there was this tradition of ghost stories around the holiday season.
Yeah, scary ghost stories.
That's that's the line from what is the song?
Most wonderful time of the year.
Yeah. And it's a tradition that's been largely forgotten, and I'm hoping that it comes back as the people are getting into Krampus and all this stuff, that tradition comes back.
I think it's still popular in Britain. I could be wrong though, because I know it's traditional to show like a horror movie around Christmas, usually of a story by M.R. James.
Right.
Mm.
But definitely not in America. We need more ghost stories in America.
Yeah.
Around Christmas time.
For sure. What?
The cutest little killer I've ever seen.
That's right. Isn't he adorable? So this is a cartoony reference to the Yule cat, an actual mythological creature popular in Germanic and Slavic and some Slavic myths as well. The Yule cat, it has the worst tradition, I think, when it comes to punishing children, in that it ultimately ends up being your parents' fault. If your parents do not buy you new clothes for Christmas, the Yule cat will come and eat you.
Wow.
value. That's right. It's a
Very
very
last
myth.
year's fashions.
That's right. If the Yule cat has a very strong fashion sense. And,
A lot of judgment coming from a cat who's naked at all times.
That's right. He's very judgmental.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's like film critics. They don't act in films, but they feel like they can judge them. You know.
Good point. I still like to think that with this one, because with all the others, it's like, don't go in the forest or else you're going to get eaten. Go to bed or else the boogeyman's going to get you. Usually it's just to get the kids to do something. And this one, I'm like, why would the parents get punished? And now I see it's like, oh, I need to get my kids clothes, but they're going to complain. It's like, mother, I don't want clothes. Well, sweetie, it's not my fault. It's if I don't get it for you, you're going to die. So not on me. I'm sorry. I'm trying to save your life.
Yep. Homicidal feline.
Wear white after Labor Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
We can definitely be forgiving of people in Icelandic cultures for all these strange myths. Mainly because if you lived in a place in perpetual darkness where most of the time there's all constant volcanic smoke in your lungs, you're going to come up with some weird stuff.
Yeah, well, like we were saying, the winter was an ordeal that you might not survive, and so all this magical thinking around this time was, an attempt to wrest control, during a time where things seemed like you had almost no control over your fate. So it makes sense. It makes sense. People. That's why we created magic, for a sense of control in a world that's not in our control.
Wait a minute. You're implying that magic's not real?
Of course, it's real. It's as real as we make it.
All right. I want to show another commercial. This one's from one of my childhood memories. All right. Although it's not too long ago. It's 1998.
Like a delicious hot bowl of Campbell's chicken noodle soup.
Oh man.
Makes everything.
Mother forgot me again out in the cold.
Yeah, really.
The children made me a snowman.
First, they showed Frosty dying to advertise their soup. Then they showed that it was a case of child neglect.
Yep, that's all it's about. It reminded me of the end scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark, except it was a snowman.
Except for the snowman.
The soup was from the Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah. No, that's kind of disturbing.
Yeah.
Who pitched that at a meeting?
I had this great idea, guys. Let's hear me out.
Pinocchio, right? But colder.
My kid nearly freezes to death outside. His mom puts out a bowl of soup, and he comes in completely encased in a living sarcophagus of snow, right? And as he eats the soup, the warmth from the soup re-energizes him, causing the snow to slough off like irradiated flesh from a victim of a nuclear accident.
No?
What do you think?
Sir, this is an Arby's.
Green light.
Please stop.
Green lighting.
That's right. Oh boy.
Wow.
So I know David is now enticed by the Christmas poop log monster.
Oh yeah. What is that?
Okay, so this is for Alexander to tell this story. So we're gonna go back in and bring that up again.
This one I think requires some explanation, or else it's not going to make any sense.
Yeah, you think? You think this might require some explanation?
I think it needs a little explanation.
Before you go into it, Alexander, I do got to ask: does the traditional tradition does involve pool noodles? Is that correct?
Traditionally, no, it's not pool noodles. Traditionally, it is just sticks. I looked through a few videos. There's a very cute one of a bunch of preschoolers who have been given sticks, and they're singing the traditional song, which these young kids are singing here. And it's really funny because I guess the preschool teachers are teaching them what to do, but as soon as they're done with the song, the teachers immediately come and snatch away the sticks. I think they probably had issues in the past with the kids immediately eating the other kids as soon as they're done with the log. So pool noodles are a lot safer.
Where is this?
This is in Catalonia. So you see it in some parts of Spain, but specifically Catalonia.
Catalonia, yeah.
Now, I want you to look at this part where that man is doing right there. Hold on. Watch this.
It's all gonna make sense.
And he goes back and he grabs the candy from where?
Oh, it's just from under a blanket, Vince. It's just under a blanket.
Yeah.
Oh,
all right. Go ahead, Alex.
Okay. This is Theo de Nadal. Theo de Nadal. Theo just means trunk or log. Theo de Nadal is the Christmas log, kind of like the Yule log. I don't know which came first, this or the Yule log. I really need to find out. But it is a log, and you can buy it in stores. Traditionally, you would make your own. You'd paint a little face on it on one end, and it's propped in a little diagonal fashion. And on the other end, you put a blanket or a towel. And throughout the season, you put plates of food and drink. You give it food. And then on, I think, the night of Epiphany, which is January 6th, you have the kids in the house go to another room to either collect the sticks or to go in another room and pray to Theo de Nadal for what gifts you want it to bring you this year. And of course, the parents are off doing something else while the kids are in this other room. So you come out and you proceed to start beating the log together with sticks. And you do this while singing Caga Theo. Now, I'm not going to sing it in Spanish, but I will tell you what the lyrics are in English. Shit log, shit nougats, hazelnuts, and mato cheese. If you don't shit well, I'll hit you with the stick. Shit log, shit log. So what happens is you sing the song, you beat it, and then as soon as the song's over, the parent reaches underneath the blanket and pulls out, oh, look, there's a bicycle. Oh, look, there's a teddy bear. So literally, the log is pooping out gifts. And sometimes the kids even get to reach underneath. And they say, oh, I've gotten that PlayStation I've always wanted. I also want to find out if this came before piñatas or if piñatas came first, because this has to have some kind of correlation with piñatas. But it's amazing. Back in the day, it would just be like nougats, and you would hope that you'd pull out nougat rather than poop. But it would be little candies, it'd be hazelnuts, and then eventually became, Xboxes and iPods.
Nice.
Oh my gosh.
The shit log. The best Christmas tradition.
I think that in itself is proof that this is the best of all possible worlds.
I think this one likes it. They get hit with the sticks.
I want this tradition to come to America because when I explain it, no one believes this is real.
That's so cool. Yay.
And we have one more commercial lined up. We'll go ahead and play that, and then we'll go into talking about just another one for David.
Who put golden chunks of apple in a pie that's packed to go?
Dolly did it.
Who put juicy red cherries in a neat-to-eat
I couldn't find a specific Christmas
put a
one.
creamy chocolate filling in this great little pie?
Is this a test?
Nah, everyone knows it's Dolly Madison who makes delicious packed-to-go pies. Cherry, apple, and chocolate, all with flaky golden crusts. Dolly Madison did it.
Everybody knows that.
Yay.
There's a bunch of parody ads for Dolly Madison cakes because you would see them sometimes in old comic books. It'd be Batman eating a Dolly Madison cake.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so a few years ago, I think the company was going under or something was happening where they were discontinuing the cakes. So people started making these parodies where it's like Swamp Thing advertising Dolly Madison cakes. The Sandman, Morpheus, Dream King himself, eating it. And then all the characters desire say, now this is something to desire. I just spare that these will be gone. It is so great. I love it so much.
Yeah, because the ad looked like it was part of the comic.
Exactly. Yeah. Just out of nowhere, Robin offers Bruce Wayne a Dolly Madison cake. Thank you, Robin.
Yeah.
This is what I need to fuel my crime-fighting expedition.
Yeah.
Well, I think was it DC was Dolly Madison and Marvel was
Hostess?
Hostess. Yeah, Hostess cake. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. I want to say it was Hostess.
That sounds about right. Yeah, because I seem to remember ads with like Spider-Man having Twinkies. And
I can picture Wolverine eating the Twinkies off his claws or something.
skewered.
Got another for me, bub.
This is the one I remember. Hold on for a second. Hold on.
Oh yeah, the Thanos copter.
Thanos went to get the Hostess cakes, so he stole a cosmic cube to get all the Hostess cakes. And this guy who's, a descendant of the Eternals, basically, and who immortal with cosmic powers, knowledge of magic, sorcery, and advanced science, has a branded helicopter that he flies around in so he can fight street level superheroes like Hellcat and Spider-Man.
Spider-Man had a Doom buggy, man. They all have weird vehicles.
It was the 70s.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thanos just can't get enough of those Hostess treats.
The only thing he loves more than death.
That's the only thing. Yeah.
Thank you, Cody.
Yes. Well, for me, the holiday season has special significance because when I was 7, as a Christmas gift, I received the magic set that would change my life forever. This was the gift I received when I was 7.
That's psychedelic.
The Mattel Showstopper Showcase magic set, and it's very cool. The box opens up into like a little performance table. It props open to create a little table out of which you can perform the show, like this, and like so. Fold this up like that, and then all the cool stuff inside. Yeah, it was a very cool thing, and like, yeah, I would be forever altered by it. And that was the start of it. I mean, that was the start of my interest in weird stuff. And it continued over the years. I mean, after I'd learned all the things in this box, I had to know more. So I started taking out books from the library about the subject of magic, and buying that Scholastic book, Spooky Tricks, which was the first book about magic I ever read.
My first book sucked. It was Kids Table Magic. I was so disappointed.
What was it?
I can't remember the title. It was one of those books where it was unbranded, and some of it was useful later, like if but when you're a kid, you're looking at Doug Henning and Harry Blackstone Jr. on TV, and you want that magic or something like that. You want to learn how to do card tricks, and you're getting a book that has how to balance 2 forks on a knife, or and how to do stuff with napkins and salt and pepper shakers and making a straw spin. Some of it's cool later when you revisit it, but as a kid,
you mean the stuff that your wife gets mad at every time you do it, and when you're out at the Cheesecake Factory, and then he yells at you to stop.
By the way, we have a Christmas present request from Zeke Powers. He's specifically he's asking this for Christmas. And he put in the comments section. He said this. He wants to know if anyone out there, wants to buy him this for Christmas this year. He'd be very appreciative.
Oh, no one does.
Waffles and pancakes.
You're gonna have to create a GoFundMe page.
Well, I donate $1 today.
I'd buy that for $1.
That's right. RoboCop reference. I love it.
So here was the next cool thing I got for Christmas at age 9. After the magic set, there was this. Let me just this is me, age 9. So this is Christmas 1972, and I'm in front of the Christmas tree, and that is Danny O'Day, who was a ventriloquist dummy. Jimmy Nelson was the ventriloquist, and that was his most popular character, Danny O'Day. They were spokespeople for Nestle's products, and so he had his own TV show and all that stuff. And so the ventriloquist figure came with a record that taught you the basics of ventriloquism. And what my parents didn't realize was that my older sister was terrified of that ventriloquist doll. She wouldn't get near it. She wouldn't look at it. So I ended up tormenting her with that doll throughout my childhood. And here's the cool thing. He's still here, tormenting my sister to this day.
And now we'll be on YouTube and Facebook forever.
Yes, immortalized. Danny, you scamp. So I never incorporated ventriloquism into my act, but I kept the vent doll, and he occasionally turns up in my shows where I tell the story of tormenting my sister with this. And he was in my Halloween show this year. So yeah. So a lot of this stuff was important enough to me that I kept it. And it really did change my life. Yeah.
Did you ever do a Elf on the Shelf type thing where you would move the doll at night when your sister wasn't paying attention?
No, the way I would torment her with it was I would hide Danny in places where I knew she would find him. She would look in the closet. She would open the closet door, and there was Danny. Or she would look under the bed, and there he was. And if I was feeling especially impish, I would stand outside the closed door of her room, and I would make this little noise. And she knew what that noise meant. It meant Danny was outside the door, so she wouldn't come out. And
it would have been great if you had gotten a friend to do it and you could yell from another room, "I'm not there. What are you talking about?"
It's not me. I'm not bugging you. Does this bug you? I'm not touching you.
It'd be funny if it was bought for the purposes of learning ventriloquism, but you never actually got to ventriloquism. It's like, no, I'm just going to use it to torture her instead.
Yeah, that's all that mattered to me, was that it was creepy enough. So yeah. But magic, I devoted my time to. I mean, if I wasn't doing stuff to like freak people out, I was working on magic. So, yeah. And assembling models of tiny dungeons. So there you go.
So how about you, Alexander? Any fun Christmas stories from the past?
I had a similar one where with David's case where in addition to magic and storytelling and all that, I've also always loved and always had a firm hold in the haunted attraction community. Haunted houses where you pay to go walk through them, actors pop out and scare you. Always been obsessed. Always wanted to make one of my own. Also to make like, I don't know, old school 30s traveling carnival heading around the country on the railways. But when I was about 13, there was this special effects company. They make prosthetic masks. And I really wanted to get this prosthetic mask of a clown with the hair and everything. It looked fantastic. It was terrifying. It was the only time my parents drew the line and said no. And it wasn't even they didn't want me to have the product. They just didn't want to buy it for Christmas. They said, any other holiday, we'll get it for you, just not for Christmas. And it made me very sad. But I love that thing so damn much. And I finally bought it last year. And I just look at it. And it's great. Moves with their mouth and everything.
Oh, wow. You know what just popped into my mind? When I was a kid, there was a shopping mall. It was one of the early shopping malls that was created probably in the 1960s, I'm guessing. And in the holiday season, they devoted a portion of the mall to this thing they called the Kooky Cookie House. And it was like a walk through haunted house, but it was this factory. It was a supposed factory for making cookies. And so it was like this Rube Goldberg-esque machinery that was stamping out gingerbread men and decorating them. There was a conveyor belt with all these cookies on it and all these like robotic things assembling the cookies. And at the end of walking through and seeing all this machinery and stuff, Santa was there and he would give you a gingerbread man, supposedly fresh off the line of this elaborate machine. And I didn't care about Santa or the gingerbread cookie because I didn't like gingerbread. But the weird robots and stuff making the cookies, like that was fascinating to me. And I would just stare at it for the longest time. I'm going to search for a video of it if I can find one. Oh, I have found one. Here, hang on. I'm going to send you this link, Vince.
All right. Where are you sending it through?
I'm going to send it via Messenger.
There you
go. This is the Cookie House. Wow, I have not thought about this in decades.
Share this.
Yeah, I had forgotten about this, but I really looked forward to this every year. There's the Ursat Santa.
Oh.
Looks like something out of a Sid and Marty Krofft show.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Looks like something out of a Sid and Marty Krofft show.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Looks like something out of a Sid and Marty Krofft show. Yeah, it does.
Why are we getting
I have the weirdest case of deja vu right now, I swear. I have the weirdest case of deja vu right now. I have the weirdest case of deja vu right now. Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
We are trapped in a time loop.
Where's that coming from?
Come to bargain.
Dormammu.
Where's that coming from? All right, David, mute your mic. It's David. No? Can you still hear it?
I don't hear it.
No? Can you still hear it?
Not now.
I don't hear it.
No? Can you still hear it?
Now I can.
I don't hear it. No? Can you still hear it? It's David, yeah.
But it's weird that it only happened now.
It's David, yeah.
But it's weird that it only happened now.
It's David, yeah.
Oh,
You
good
have
question. Do you
a
have
tab open from the YouTube channel?
What's that?
Do you have a tab open from the YouTube channel or
Good question. Do you have
Oh yeah, that's it.
There we go.
Yeah.
That was so weird. Thank you very much, Stephanie.
Stephanie saved the day. Yay.
So it's really funny. Got some tachyons loose, exactly. Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. It's funny. So for years, I work at this event, worked past tense since it's not happening this year, at this event in the Bay Area of California in San Francisco called the Great Dickens Fair. So for those of you who are unaware, think like a Renaissance fair, but instead of medieval times, it's a giant warehouse called the Cow Palace made to look like you're inside Victorian London at Christmas time. And it's immersive theater because they have people walking around. It's hundreds and hundreds of actors and people walking around pretending like they're just people who live in Victorian London. But there's also fictional characters. You can go hobnob with Ebenezer Scrooge, with Oliver Twist, with Alice from Alice in Wonderland. And they have historical personages. They have Charles Dickens. They have Ada Lovelace. I played P.T. Barnum last year, and it was amazing. But there was a struggle at first to get Edgar Allan Poe there, because at first the people who run the event, they didn't want Poe because they said, "Oh, don't you think Poe's a little dark?" And then the guy who plays Poe, he's just like, "Have you not read Dickens? Dickens gets dark all the time." So they're like, "Oh, okay, fine." And now a lot of people come to the event just to meet Edgar Allan Poe and hear him recite The Raven or do a rendition of Telltale Heart. It's fantastic. It's so much fun.
The actor.
I'm sorry?
You know who the actor's name is? What the actor?
Oh yeah, it's a gentleman who's part of a local swing band called Lee Presson on the Nails, and he's just called Lee Presson. And he's fantastic.
So Poe is just kind of visiting London.
Yeah, that's how they explain the Americans there. When I played Barnum, thankfully what I had going for me was Queen Victoria herself personally invited P.T. Barnum to come by and entertain her family, show off Tom Thumb and whatnot. And we didn't get to do it, but I really want to do a recreation of what that looked like because the Tom Thumb performance went great. But afterward, they kept telling P.T. Barnum, like, okay, when you meet the Queen, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, make sure you do this. And they told him, never show your back to the Queen. When you leave, you're going to walk backwards. And he said, okay, sure. No one told Tom Thumb. So when P.T. Barnum was done, he bows, starts walking backwards, and Tom Thumb, he's taking a couple steps back, but he can't keep the same pace as Barnum. Takes a couple steps, turns around, runs up to catch up to Barnum, stops, turns back around, takes a couple more steps back, turns around, and then keeps doing that. And everyone in the palace is dying of laughter because they understand what's going on. And I want to do a recreation of that so badly. I just need to find a child who they'll let me use him as my puppet.
That's what they're for, right?
Exactly.
And what else would you have children for?
I mean, their hands are perfect to get inside the gears of the factories.
They make excellent chimney sweeps as well.
Put them back in the mines.
Yeah.
Cookie house.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cool stuff.
Yep. The
Fun.
So we have a few minutes. So part of this evening is also brought to you by Poe's Magic Academy, in which we hope to have that up and running very early in 2021. And Poe's Magic Academy will be presenting useful magic advice for magicians and illusionists and entertainers, for actually helping you with your career as opposed to just showing up at
Opposed to useless advice.
Yeah, showing up at a club and doing card tricks, which is fine for the club. But would you like to know how to help with your SEO, help to theme a show, how to make yourself different and stand out from the crowd? That's what Poe's Magic Theater is. Through Poe's Magic Academy, will be helping you with. So this is something we're focusing on. This kind of these StreamYard, Facebook, and YouTube presentations. We're going to probably start doing them. I'm thinking Tuesdays. So Tuesdays will probably be a regular day. We're going to have Paul Draper on this upcoming Tuesday. As a matter of fact, he's going to be talking about his show for Poe's Magic next month. He's actually performing on my birthday, January 9th.
Oh.
Yep. That's right. Same birthday as Richard Nixon. Yes. But anyway, go ahead.
On the 26th.
That's right. Yep.
The holiday special.
Our holiday special is coming up. That's right. We have let's see. I'll bring up our itinerary very quickly. Let's see. So, here we go. So this month we have Danny Archer this up next Saturday, and then right after that, the big holiday show, Ghosts of Christmas Past, coincidentally named, or the Holidays Are Magic. Vince and David. It's David first with doing his Christmas special from the Sorcerer's Lair, where he's at right now. So he's going to turn that clown and behind him only to the left, so only the red side's facing the camera. That's right. Yep, there you go. Or to the right, and and that will be his Christmas decoration for the evening, right there. And then followed by that, we're going to have the Dickens Spirit Session. We're going to be contacting the ghosts of Christmas past. Perhaps someone will be coming from the past to tell you to be a better person. Otherwise, you'll be spending your purgatory with chains and boxes and all sorts of things. By the way, so let's talk about that for a second. In ancient times, limbo or purgatory was represented as a separate sphere from Earth for the most part. Now there was gateways and entryways and things like that, but it evolved into the concept of a sphere separately from Earth. The concept of limbo, in which you were a non-corporeal being, a ghost or spirit wandering the earth, may have started with Charles Dickens to some degree. At least that's what there's one right now. Clearly a damned soul trapped in limbo between the spaces. Really started its popularity with Dickens. I mean, there was a reference sort of in the Jack of the Lantern legend as well, but I'm not exactly sure how old that legend is. But Dickens was the early 1800s. What's that?
The Will of the Wisp.
Yeah.
That's old.
Yeah.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't limbo also a specific dimensional plane in Catholicism where unbaptized babies would go because they couldn't get into heaven?
Purgatory.
Purgatory. Thank you.
Yeah. They became interchangeable terms at one point.
That makes it tricky.
Yeah, a lot of Christians believe, whether they realize it or not, get most of their concepts of heaven and hell from alternative sources, not really the Bible.
Hell just comes from Dante because there's not much description of hell in the Bible.
Yeah, Paradise Lost to some degree as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of references from Paradise Lost, and you got to think about Dante. You brought up the Divine Comedy,
Right.
specifically the Paradise Lost. Well, I'm sorry, specifically Dante's Inferno from the Divine Comedy, and that has a lot of Greek references in it. There, Cerberus, the three-headed dog.
King Minos is one of the judges.
King Minos, the Minotaur himself, makes an appearance in the story. You know, there's the river Styx. There's the ferryman that takes you across.
Yeah.
Yep, all that's referenced in Dante's Inferno, and people think of hell, they think of Dante's Inferno, and they think of certain aspects also from Paradise Lost as well, from Milton. You know, the idea that there's a city or a capital, you know, the capital of Dis and Pandemonium, and that sort of thing. You know, these are referenced in modern day Christianity, but that's all fabricated, unless you believe that, you know, divine intervention inspired Milton to write that. But the bottom line is limbo, a severed sphere. A lot of the concepts of it being a plane, it evolved mostly from Dickens. I would be curious to see if the story of the Will o' the Wisp, the Jack o' the Lantern story, was influenced by that. Even though it's an older story, it's possible. Was it always that version, or did it evolve during Victorian times? I'd have to do some research into that. I have some old literature on that as well, so let's look that up. But yeah, we owe a lot to modern Christmas traditions. The idea of decorating the tree, a Christmas card, all that happened in the 19th century. A lot of these traditions are not particularly old as far as, you know, they're old as far as where they were stolen from, which were much older Roman and Nordic holidays and traditions. The mistletoe, it gets its story from Norse mythology, specifically involving the murder of the god Balder, the Brave. So look that up, everyone. It's a fascinating story.
There's another creepy Christmas poem/song that used to be very traditional for the time, called the Mistletoe Bow, or the Mistletoe Bough. Classic song, and people often know it not by that name, but it eventually it's like an old ghost story you hear around the fire of a married couple. They're playing hide and seek after the wedding has taken place, and the wife decides to hide inside of a trunk. And then no one finds her, and she accidentally locked herself in. They think she went missing, and then years later, they discover the skeleton still in the bridal outfit inside the trunk. But classic old Christmas song that would be sung around the season.
Yep. So I brought out a Christmas story, and I'm going to read a part of it. This is called The Heart of Darkness, and it appears in the Enchanted World series by Time Life Books, the Book of Christmas. What a festive cover indeed. Most relics of sacrificial customs were distant from their sanguinary origins. They took the form of processions of people in disguise, and they were full of merriment. Only the faintest tinge of the solemnity of old ritual remained. When the Romans ruled Britain, for instance, the soldiers of the legions that followed Mithra, god of light, sacrificed bulls to him. Centuries later, all that remained of the religion were comical Christmas maskers, such as the Usher or Dorst, who paraded the villages disguised with the bull's mask. Coventry had its own bull dancer called Old Bronzen Face. Like other Christmas animals, he was a luck bringer.
Old Brass Face.
Old Brass Face. I knew that guy.
Yeah.
He drove around in a creepy van.
Old Brass Face.
Old Brass Face. Yep. So, but anyway, but yeah, we're going to start doing these more often. Sometimes it might just be us chatting. Sometimes we might have relevant information. A lot of discussion is for those who are magicians watching. I know it's very, it's kind of hard this year. Not a lot of people doing live shows. and not everyone can translate their show very well to Zoom necessarily. It's a struggle we're dealing with, and hopefully not a struggle that'll last much longer now that vaccinations are going out this Monday, from what I heard last. Very exciting stuff. And we'll be doing 100 days of mask wearing, which I think will be very helpful to actually changing things around. So hopefully by midsummer, we might actually get, to some degree back to normal, at least with social distancing and things like that. But I wanted to talk a little bit about, since this is a magic venue with magicians here, could you tell me some stories about a show in which you had something that was Christmas related or holiday themed, or something you were able to repurpose for the holidays? Let's start with you, David.
Well, I did an entire show on this theme. I was doing a show in a bed and breakfast, an old mansion in Milwaukee years and years ago, called Haunting History, and that was for the Halloween season. And it went so well. It was like a walk through haunted house. Basically, was the structure. The audience was let in groups, and they toured through the house. In each room, a scene happened. They all ended up in the basement for a seance, and that was the Halloween show. And so one year I said, well, let's do a holiday version of this. Let's do a Christmas version of this. And so we took the same show structure, and basically in each room there was some tidbit of history or folklore about the holiday season. And some of the rooms involved, food and stuff. Like there was a scene in the kitchen where the character in the kitchen talked about how Cromwell and the Puritans, the Roundheads, had basically outlawed Christmas. They had, and specifically mince pies. Cromwell called them a pagan confection. And so if you were caught making or eating mince pies, you were supposed to be fined 5 shillings. And so we had pieces of mince pie that we handed out to people, and then there was the 12th night cake and stuff about the Yule log and the mistletoe and all this. There was like a love ritual that had to do with the mistletoe, where you plucked a leaf from the mistletoe, and you used a pin to prick the initials of your true love into the leaf, and then a lady was supposed to sew it into her corset near to her heart, and as long as that leaf remained there, the object of her affections would be in love with her. And so it was all this kind of cool stuff. And then once everybody was downstairs, I recited the Ballad of the Harp Weaver by Edna St. Vincent Millay. Eugene Berger had turned me on to this. It's a Christmas poem, but it's creepy, particularly the ending of it. And so it's kind of a ghost story. And I did that, and I did some magic, and that was the evening. And it was we only did it once. We only did it 1 year, but it was super fun. And I'd love a chance to do it again, because it was a great time.
Nice. How about you, Alexander?
Well, for the past few years, I've been doing a holiday show. My holiday show this year is very different from the one I've been doing. But the past few years, I've had this show where I completely change character, and the whole shtick is that is an hour-long show, and you are in the staff employee lounge of the North Pole, and you walk in. I come out as a North Pole elf named Tinkle, and I'm like, hello, boys and girls. How are we all doing today? Well, excellent. I just got back from hanging out with Kris Kringle, getting all the toys ready, and then an alarm goes off. Fuck! Oh God, it is break time. Oh, I break out a bottle of Jack Daniels. There's a sticky note that says eggnog on it, and I just relax. I'm like, okay, so, hey, new recruits, huh? All right, well, welcome in. And the whole shtick is that there's magic that's happening as I'm introducing you to, like, okay, here's what you need to expect since you're now interns from the South Pole working at the North Pole. And my highlight was I wanted to incorporate some sideshow in there, but I couldn't figure out how to make that festive and holiday themed. And I realized at one point, I was like, okay, now I'm going to teach you how to build little dolly houses. And I start breaking out the doll houses. And a coworker comes in who I don't want there. So to freak her out, I get one of the nails and hammer that in my nose. And I start hanging Christmas ornaments from the nails in my nose. And I make myself into a human Christmas tree, wrap tinsel around, put a star on my head. And I have ornaments hanging out from the human blockhead nails. And then I like, oh, wait, hold on, look, I can juggle. And I juggle for a couple seconds, then it all falls with the ornaments. And then that proceeds to a glass walking routine using broken bottles and Christmas ornaments. And I love it so much.
Candy cane blockhead routine.
I've thought of it. I always worry that the sugar content will do something bad.
No, they have candy cane like plastic drink stirrers. That's what I use.
Ah, good point. Good point.
Yeah, for martini glasses.
Yeah.
Yep. So I did that actually last December when I hope Dan Ecker gets to see this when I started reverse pickpocketing candy canes and napkins and silverware from the bar into his pockets and accused him of being a Christmas thief. That was when Christopher Thies and Crystal Younglove were performing at the theater that night, and we had nutcrackers on stage for the evening.
Nice.
Yep. But yeah, Christmas theming is a challenge for a lot of magicians. Like when someone says, "Can you do a Christmas show?" There's a tendency for a magician to show up with a red vest and Santa Claus beard jacket, and maybe a Santa hat, and that's the extent they'll take that Christmas show. It's the challenge, of course, is theming your performance for and it's easy stuff. There's if you're not particularly crafty for making your own materials, there are available products. There's a Christmas Carol book test, for example. I use that myself.
Folklore and stuff related to the season. There's plenty to work with there.
Yeah, there's lots of material. There's been books written. There's PDFs available. Library.com, Penguin has stuff. But really, you have no excuse. To be perfectly honest with you, you should be able to put something together. I have a whole Dickens themed show. I had I want to feel bad for forgetting his name. I had a custom. Mark Charisse made a custom decoupage box for me that I put Christmas postcards in, referencing a love triangle that went awry, as they do. Murder happened, and the ghost of Ebenezer Scrooge tries to help another spirit solve her murder. And it happens through the course. It was a very Dickens themed murder mystery and magic show I do. And that was my contribution to Christmas themed magic shows.
Yay. I'm going to be doing a piece about Krampus in my upcoming show.
Yes. Looks like you're dressed to the occasion.
I am. This is my Krampus, guys. You didn't
I was
recognize
disappointed to see the string when you put that on, by the way. I thought you actually just kind of sucked them, like little suckers on there or something.
Yeah, no. I got these. It used to be that Chicago had thank you. Every year there'd be a trade show for the Halloween industry in Chicago. It was huge. The whole convention center was taken over by people with Halloween related products. And I was looking for horns like this for ages. And I finally found this pair at that thing years ago. I've been using them ever since for my Krampus disguise. Yeah, because the ones that attach to your head with suction cups don't stay. They fall off.
I just grow mine naturally.
Indeed.
Hide it under the hair.
Yeah, most of the time. Yeah.
All right. So for those who, I'm going to put this in the chat here. For those who see this, this is actually, and you can get it here too. This is actually a link to. Give me a second. Let me actually do a screen share of this, and I'll bring up ours as well.
What are you doing? Oh, okay.
Oh, that's my show.
Yep. So that you can follow the link I put in the chat there. It's right here.
Or worst comes to worst, just thornmagic.com. All one word.
Link there as well. And I'll bring up our show as well and put that in there.
Yay.
Well, realistically, you should just go to posemagic.com and sign up for every event we have this month.
I like
That's
that idea.
Easiest, best thing to do. It's so simple. Go to posemagic.com.
So you're not going to bother to put the link in there?
Yeah, I'm going to put one in here now. There we go.
Yay.
Yeah, go to posemagic.com and sign up for every event. It's pay what you can, pay what you can. It's always pay what you can. And, while this pandemic thing is going on, it always will be pay what you can. We understand that times are tough right now, but it's time to start crossing your fingers, wear your mask, be careful out there. And look forward to 2021. We have in the dark arts have spoken with our familiars, and they're communicating back to the powers that be in order to make sure that 2021 goes a little bit better.
And if it's any consolation, if you look at history, anytime we've had a massive plague, every time it's over, there's a period of abundance. There's a period of discovery even after the 1918 epidemic. Roaring 20s comes right after, and I think a lot of that has to do with people just like, oh, we're finally allowed to come outside. We don't have to be in quarantine. We can take the masks off. I think we're gonna have another Roaring 20s, hopefully.
Now I'm looking to see. It looks like you're both shopping for ties at the same location.
Vince, where'd you get your tie? Mine is from Disney World.
Vince Emporium, I'm guessing.
No, mine is the here. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but mine is the wallpaper at the Haunted Mansion.
Oh, that's
yeah. Mine's paisley, so it's green paisley. So I got this at Brooks Brothers actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
I had another one. It was purple, and it was black, and the designs were purple. It was gorgeous. It was beautiful. This 100% silk tie. I got a mustard stain on it, and then I threw it in the washing machine. And I was not aware that you're not supposed to do that, and it's never been the same.
Yeah.
I was so angry at myself.
I clean only for most quality neckties. Unfortunately, I only get good neckties. And when I buy a tie, it should be a decent necktie always. So I'm a little snobby when it comes to neckties. Here, hold on for a second.
So
when I actually
ruined
the rest
a Haunted Mansion tie.
I'm sorry, what?
The one you ruined was also a Haunted Mansion tie.
It was, and they don't sell it anymore. They only sell this one now.
Yeah.
Oh wow, those are lovely.
Nice.
Yeah, I have this is actually a Victorian style.
Oh yeah. What is it called?
Puff tie.
Yep. And this is a hold on. Let me see if I can find it.
Cravat. That was it. Cravat.
This is actually my Ghost Club tie from the Ghost Club of. I'm an official member of the Ghost Club of England, and that's That's the tie they give to their members only. Yep. Oh, that's actually wrong ghost tie. Here's the actual Ghost Club.
Just lose track of all my ghost ties.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So.
Nice.
Yep. That's not even including the ones in my travel case. It's 25 years of ties right there. Don't give me a tie for Christmas, everyone. I have too many.
Or do.
What's that?
Or do. Add to the collection.
Yeah.
You know, speaking of ties, I would love to see some bizarre magician do a routine, maybe at the end of the show or with their assistant, based on the classic story of the girl who always has the red ribbon around her neck, and she constantly keeps telling her husband, no, I'll never take it off, and then finally on her deathbed, she's like, okay, fine, takes it off, and her head just plummets off. Never explains how.
And
Love that story as a kid.
And then talks to him after it's severed.
Yeah, but I'd love to see that, like, finale of a show, just takes off the ribbon, plummets off, curtains close.
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be great.
Yep. Keller did that, didn't he?
Oh, did he? Oh, that'd be wonderful.
He did. It was Keller who did the. Was he the one famous for? Or was that Thurston later?
Decapitation?
The decapitation. Yeah.
I thought it was Keller.
I thought it was Alice Cooper.
It was also Alice Cooper. Yeah.
It was also Alice. He took it. He took it to the next level.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. The levitations in the 19th century were, because of we're so desensitized when it comes to special effects. But when the magic lantern shows often involved the stage lights going out and the projector would come on, and a still frame of the individual will be lifted into the air, them just moving the magic lantern around the stage, and that's what was considered a levitation at the time. They really believed that person just ascended into the air and flew around the stage.
Because
I would love to see a classic magic lantern show.
Technology is indistinguishable from magic.
That's right.
Arthur C. Clarke was right.
Yeah, some people think that's how Hume may have done. Daniel Douglas Hume may have done his levitation.
Actually, placed levitation.
Well, supposedly with Hume, wasn't he like floating into people's windows and whatnot, and just like popping in?
Yeah,
the living room?
Back in.
Yeah. Unless you believe in the supernatural, the actual supernatural, like there's a real paranormal phenomenon, and no one has done that since. Only one human in all of world history has successfully levitated into the air, flew around the room. There's drawings of the levitation, because I think
all I need.
Yeah, the drawing. That's right. Drawings of levitation, where he goes out the window, circles around the house, and comes back in
through
another window. Yeah. So unless you believe that is true, like he is the only person who was able to do that, and it hasn't been duplicated since. I would say that probably the witnesses exaggerated a little bit.
No, Vince, there's drawings of it.
Yeah.
Drawings don't lie.
Things rendered in real time.
Exactly.
It was the pterodactyl inside the camera box.
Hold it right there. Hold it right there.
Well, it's like with a lot of classic seances. It'd be pitch black, and the medium would be like, I'm levitating, take the picture now. And then as soon as the flash goes, the person would just jump. So like in the photo, it's like, wow, he's floating in a crouch position, but he's floating.
I like the one where they put their shoes on their hands, and then like on the top of the head with their shoes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
There it is.
There you go.
Yep. It must be true. That's just too realistic.
Yeah. Eyewitness accounts say Blackbeard's body swam around the boat a few times after his head got chopped off. And I mean, why would someone lie about that?
Yeah, that drawing was done in real time.
The sketch artists at the time were phenomenal. That was the real supernatural thing at the time, was the ability to sketch at such a speed. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think we've all earned a Pez.
Yep, I agree. Oh, we should have set this up before, where you hand it up in the screen and we grab it. I remember thinking that.
Challenge.
Thank you. Here's one for you.
Delicious.
Yeah. Apparently, he loaded it directly into Alexander's stomach because he just went
intravenous Pez. What's funny though is literally
sticks.
Literally about a year ago, I found an antique shop, and I'm not lying. I'm gonna feel a little embarrassed about this, but I was at an antique store, and one of the things they had was that same exact skull-headed Pez dispenser, and I was like, I saw this in David Parr's show. I have to get one, and then I bought it, and I was so happy. And my friends didn't understand why I wanted a Pez dispenser so bad. Like, you could probably find a newer one with the skulls. Like, no, I gotta have this one.
No, the new ones aren't as good.
Exactly.
The new ones don't actually have holes where the eyes are. It just has like a black colored plastic thing.
Mm.
So the old Dr. Skullhead ones are the best ones.
Yep.
Sometimes the old ways are the good ways.
Exactly.
You have to go to eBay now to get those.
Yes. And this is how nerdy we can get. So you have one of these now?
I have one now, and I'm so happy. But I don't want to steal your shtick of like, would you like a Pez? Every now and then after a routine. But I'm going to do something with it.
I use it sometimes as a reward during the show. Like in my cabinet show, there's a part where I ask the person if they can name the first 3 digits of the serial number on a bill that they've loaned me. And there was an occasion where the guy got it right. He guessed the 3 digits of the serial number.
Wow.
And I was like, holy crap. Like, okay, you get a Pez.
You know, you could probably make some kind of routine where you reveal at the end of the show, with every Pez given, you were actually, without the audience realizing it, making them into Pavlov dog type things where you've instilled a reaction from now on whenever they receive a Pez, this magical thing, like they're going to do something without realizing it. Like, oh, when you receive the Pez, now you automatically think of the 3 of clubs. And I've instilled that in you because you didn't notice that card was flashing every time I gave you a Pez.
You operantly conditioned.
Exactly.
Very nice.
Well, everyone, I think this has been a extremely fun show this evening. I had a blast.
Yeah.
Yep.
Seasonal seasonings, everybody.
Yep. So I'm sure we'll have Alexander and David on again. David practically lives at Poe's Magic now.
I do. There's a special level. How many feet beneath the ground?
It's 2,000 feet. We're always adding floors, and we're slowly descending into the crust.
Yes, I have my wing now.
That's right.
I've just been circling the lot. I'm waiting for them to let me into the bunker.
Yeah, it's really chilly now, but we figure if we go deep enough, it'll start getting warmer.
Yeah, the old ways are the best ways. Definitely Tarbell.
That's right. All right, everyone. So until next time, for all the magicians watching, feel free to, I cannot put the link in the chat because it would be out there forever. But message me if you're interested. We're going to have the after show tradition going on. Let's do that. We'll start that up at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That way, me, David, and Alexander can go get some drinks, get our LaCroix out, and maybe
get my eggnog.
Get your eggnog. That's right. Yep, and have a nice little break before we go into the after show. If you're not familiar with the after show, please send me a link request. And if I deem thee worthy, you may attend the after. I'm just kidding about that, but you may attend the after show. What's that, David?
Thousands of feet beneath the Earth's crust.
That's right. Yes, beneath the Lord Baltimore Hotel.
Yes.
Yep, you'll be able to attend the after show. They've never heard. Someone has not heard of the after show. That just means you're not on that level of magic awareness.
They're still on the third level.
We can remedy that quite simply.
That's right. All you gotta do is send me a message, and we will invite you into the after show, the top secret show, only for members of the Demons Club. So that's right. You can join us if you dare. But anyway, happy holidays, everyone.
Happy Yulemas.
That's right. All right. Ending broadcast.
Bye.
Bye.